Hi everyone, I'm JD. Welcome back to my channel. So here is my journal challenge journal, and I'm a bit late, but I'll go through my August page spread for the prompt, which was quotes or quote. But first I'll just take you quick flip through of what I've done so far, and I'm really loving this journal, and every time I add a page spread it just makes it even better. I mean, a used journal is the best cut kind of journal in my eyes. So I kind of skipped a few pages, just going to a page that suited my needs for this page spread, and here it is. It is a bit more of an earthy, down to earth page spread, and I think it's kind of fitting for the quote that I chose. So it could be any favorite quote or a quote that was speaking to you at the moment, that kind of thing. I have decorated my page using this piece here. I think this piece came from Tina. It looks kind of watercolorish, but I think it's from a book page. I'm not too sure, but it kind of looks like card. And I like the fact that it has this candle here and the light and the flowers and everything. And the quote that I chose talks about light, so I thought that was pretty fitting. And if you remember back to my January prompt, word for the year, my word for the year is light. So I like how that kind of all fits together. Okay, so the quote that I chose comes from this book. Well, I found it in a book called Girlosophy, but it actually comes from a different book called A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. But also, I think this quote originally came from Martin Luther. Not too sure, but just want to put all that out there. And I'll just read the quote. I've already read this quote on my Patreon where I did a face-to-face video. So I'll share a bit more about the story behind this quote, though, so it's not just a straight repeat for my patrons. But anyway, here we go. I'll read it out. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and famous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. This quote, as soon as I read it in this book, it just kind of, when it just resonates with you straight away. It's like this significant quote, and you're just like, yes, that I agree with that totally. But it took this to be able to put into words for me to understand that was a thing that I believed, because you don't always know it. Things like our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Really? I always thought my deepest fear was to be inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Yes, I'm afraid of my power, if that makes sense. I'm afraid of what I can do, that I could hurt someone, that I could reflect badly what God is like or something, It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Now, that was the truest statement that I saw in this quote, the one that just really grabbed me, because I always thought, yeah, it was my darkness that was the thing that made me so afraid to open up, to let people get to know me. I was always afraid. These were things that would run through my head. If people knew the real me, they wouldn't like me. If people knew the darkness and the ugliness that was in me, people would reject me. But then this quote just turns that whole thing around. It goes, it's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And it just hit me. It was like, that is actually true. To be in the light, to shine your light, that means you're being exactly who you are. No pretenses, no masks, no covering up. It's just you, and you're being seen. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh, this is the scariest thing. But yeah, I always thought, you're playing small doesn't serve the world, it says here. I actually thought me playing small served the world. When I was in high school and primary school, I've talked about this before, my goal was to be invisible. I wanted to be silent, and I didn't want to be seen. And I thought that was my best way of serving the world. Let others shine, let them be in the spotlight, and I'll just be in the background hiding. And I thought that was me doing a good thing. But then this just, convicting me, you're playing small doesn't serve the world. It's actually, there's nothing noble about hiding in the background. There's nothing noble about if it comes from a place of fear. That's what I'm talking about. There's nothing noble about, because it's cowardice in the end. And not to be like hard hitting or anything, but this just is how it spoke to me. And it was, really convicting about why I was doing what I was doing and my motivations. And in the end, it just really showed me I was afraid of my own light, my own who I am. Can't get any more, insecure than that. But there's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. So that's so true. Like, some people can play small because they think it's a humble thing to let others shine, and then you just you're worried about what other people will think about you, and you're worried that they're going to think you're hogging the limelight, or that you're being selfish, or that they're going to feel really awkward because you're in the light and they're not, or something. But in the end, as it says, we're all meant to shine. And I was having this amazing conversation with one of my friends, which I wrote here, and this is the thing that just really brought it home. Like, we have the same belief here, the core belief here, that we don't want to see people in false humility going, oh yeah, let's let them be in the light and we'll stay in the background and look how good I am because I'm letting them be in the light. It's like, no, you are meant to be seen, okay? And if you are going to stay in the background, you're robbing everyone of what you have to give. You are a gift to the world, and we need you to shine. And so it's not an arrogant thing like, oh, look at me, I'm in the spotlight, look at me and what I have to give, and la la la, and no one else can be in the spotlight. No, there's room for everyone in the spotlight. There's room for everyone to be themselves. And just, my friend and I were just saying how there's nothing we loved more than seeing people be themselves and just shine, with no awkwardness, with no arrogance, just being who they are, and you just see the light out of them, and it's just the most amazing thing. The thing is, you don't need to get rid of fear. That fear can stay there forever. That fear of being seen, and that fear of being awkward, and that fear of insecurity, and that fear of what people are going to think of you. Because I used to be one of those people who thought, no, I can't be in the spotlight because people will think I'm arrogant. People will think I'm selfish. People will think I'm this proud, limelight hogging person. But that was just my fear. So my cowardice of that made me hide in the background, when actually it takes great, great courage. Oh my goodness, so much courage to be seen and to be in the light. And here's a story that really brought it home to me. So many stories in my life have shown this to me, but one in particular. This guy, when I was at Beach Mission, we had this chance to share something personal about us with the group, something that we'd done, either a drawing or a poem or writing or a story about ourselves. And so you had 5 minutes or so to just talk in front of the group and share your passion. And then this guy stood up and he was just saying, I'm terrified of singing in public, but I just want to worship God. That's my heart. My passion is worshiping God. So I'm going to sing a song of worship to him in front of you all. And, I could tell, his voice is kind of shaking and he was nervous. And I felt totally awkward for him. I was just like, oh no, cringing. But then he just closed his eyes and in stillness, he sang this worship song. And I was just blown away. I was like, that's it. He is shining. The fear doesn't have to go away. And that just spoke to me more than anything. I was like, what he is doing, just being totally himself and offering his heart, to us and to God, just sharing it completely open and vulnerable. I was like in tears almost. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. And it inspired me so much. It wasn't about him going, look at me, I'm singing, look at me, how good my voice is, look at me, spotlight, spotlight, spotlight. No, it was just, I just want to share my heart. And, he was saying, I don't have the best voice, but who cares? I'm just sharing my heart. And that's what I say here, like with my YouTube channel, in a past, like 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do this because I would have been too scared and I would have been too nervous and I would have been like, I'm not a good speaker, I can't do it. And I'm not a good speaker. I'm still not a good speaker. I say all the time and I have this nervous giggle all the time. But, do it anyway, because you never know who it's going to help. And that's the point of this. That guy and all these other people who have shared vulnerably about themselves have inspired me to share my own stories and just step into that light, no matter how scary it is to be seen, because I trust and I believe that it will help others to step into their fears and let them be seen. And that is all I want. That's my heart, and this is what my friend's heart is. We just want people to be seen, to shine their light, to be in their light, because you are a gift to the world and we need what you have to give, and you never know who you're going to free. And that's kind of the point, is I was freed by seeing other people share vulnerably, and now I can share vulnerably. And I don't do it just to share vulnerably. That's not why I do it. I do it so that someone else out there may be freed, so that you may be seen, so that you may shine, and so that you may share yourself and share vulnerably too. Um, so yeah, really, really believe in this. And I know another friend of mine, she also related to that idea. She was like, no, I just want to be in the background because I don't want to be arrogant. I don't want the spotlight. What will people think? And then when I shared this story with her, she's like, you are so right. We just got to get into the light, because it's not about us anyway. When we're in the light, it's about how it can free others. And that's what this says here. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. So I'm just trusting here, as I share this, maybe someone out there is going to get this into them and they'll be like, okay, no more hiding. Let's just go shine. And the fear can stay there, but I'm going to share my heart. I'm going to share my passions. I'm going to share myself with all my fears and insecurities, with all my darkness. It's all okay, because you don't need to hide the darkness. When we shine and just show the darkness, when we shine a light onto that darkness, it gives others permission to look at their darkness too and to share it. We've all got darkness. It's all good. We're all fine. And when we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So that's what this guy who's singing, sharing his heart as he's sang, it liberated me from my own fear. It took a while, okay? It did take a few more years before I could eventually share my own stories. I was terrified of sharing my heart, sharing my stories, being vulnerable. But slowly, as more and more people shared more of themselves with me, I felt like I was being given such a gift, sorry. So that was the other thing I learned. Yeah, it's not selfish at all to be in the light, because when you're in the light, you are giving to others. If you own the darkness, if you're hiding yourself in the background, you're robbing everyone of your gifts. And therefore, you're the one receiving. You're just listening to other people. You're just getting other people's light and seeing them in the light, and you're receiving their gift. And that's the selfish thing. Again, not hard hitting here. No one feel judged or anything. This is how it spoke to me. I realized I was being selfish, letting everyone else be in the light, and I was just receiving. This guy singing in public, sharing his heart. I felt like I was given the most amazing gift. It was so precious, it made me cry. And I realized I was being not a little selfish in a way, because here I am just hiding in the background, and I'm not going to share anything. I'm not going to be courageous. He can be courageous, and I'll get this amazing moment from him. And I received from him. So thank you. I just thanked him so much for doing that. And then at the end of the session, it's like, oh, well, I just walked away from that not sharing a single thing. And so that was me being selfish. So to be selfless, step into that light and give whatever it is you have to give. Share your heart, share your stories, share who you are. It's a gift to others. And that's why I do it too, because it's about others. That whole thing, I just said that already, but yeah, it's about giving to others, and therefore it is not selfish at all to be in the light. So I just wanted to share those real life stories from my life, because without those, I would never have got this truth, because without this, I would have just been the other opposite. I've been like, nope, it's noble, it's great to be in the background, it is selfless to be in the background. So it took these stories for me to finally get in my head, actually, no. It is more selfless and more courageous and more humble to be in the light, to overcome those fears, to just lay it all out there, all those vulnerabilities, so that it can give something to others. So I just pulled out these two quotes here, the ones that really spoke to me the most. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Oh, and this other one, we fear success more than we fear failure. So I was telling my patrons how this quote actually got me kickstarted on Patreon, because for months I was sitting on this idea. I had the page ready to go, and I just did not hit publish, and I just did not advertise it on my YouTube, because I was terrified. And I thought it was because I was afraid of failing, that no one would be interested, that no one would care, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, no patrons, that's fine, moving on. But all along I knew it wouldn't actually bother me, because I know my worth. I know I'll create anyway. It won't knock me. 10 years ago it might have made me feel worthless, but I'm strong enough now to go, you know what, I know what I do has value. I know what I do is speaking to people because of what you guys have said on comments and stuff. And if no one becomes a patron, that is totally fine. That is just awesome, you know, and I learn from it. It's totally fine. So in the end, I had this epiphany where I was driving home one night and this quote came back to me, and I realized I was afraid of success, not failure. That what if it actually did work? What if people did become patrons? Well, then I would have, I'd have more work to do, and I would have people seeing more of me, people seeing my face, and me sharing more stuff about myself. It would mean people actually want to know me, and that scared me, I guess. So, but then I remember this quote, and I was just like, that's it. So the next day, I launched Patreon, and that's what I mean. You don't need to get rid of the fear. Just acknowledge that it's there. Just don't let it stop you. And the only reason I can keep going despite fear is because of this lesson I've learned, that it is going to give something to others. And I'm just, I'm trusting that my patrons feel like they're getting a gift from me by being a patron, by getting more personal videos from me, from seeing my face, from the rewards, and that it isn't me having to be scared and nervous about, because I am, I still am scared. What if they don't like this reward? What if they don't like this video? What if I share too much then and they don't like me anymore? These are all normal fears. I think we all have these kinds of fears. But I press on, trusting, that it's going to be a gift to some people. It's not going to be a gift to everyone, and that's okay. It's not going to speak to everyone. And if I lose patrons here or there, it's totally fine. This is for the ones who truly think it's a gift. I do it for you guys, Okay, and so yeah, as we let our own light shine, we give others permission to shine. As we face our fears, we give others courage to face theirs. So even on Patreon, I hope that's what it does too. As I share more personally there, I hope for my patrons who listen that it encourages you to share who you are in whatever form that is. Just chatting to your family or friends or strangers about who you are, or on your own YouTube channel, or through your artwork, or through your poetry, or through your writing, or through your creativity. However you share yourself, just let it out. It's a gift. It's a gift. All right. And I shared that whole Patreon story on that side of this card, which came from Tina, from your gorgeous journal. I love this piece of paper with the beautiful flowers and everything. And then I just wrote some of my other favorite quotes here. So the unexamined life is not worth living. I'm always examining life. I'm always examining why I do things and trying to be intentional about everything I do. I Think Therefore I Am by Descartes. I think that's how you say it, I'm not sure. I'm a thinker. I love thinking. I'm one of those, over analytical people. I love the intellectual. I love, all that kind of stuff. And I think I think if I'm not thinking, I don't exist. Thinking is my hobby. I love thinking. I enjoy it. And I love reflecting. I guess that's why I journal, because it's my thoughts on a page. And then sing like no one is listening, dance like no one is watching. I love that one, just about the freedom, about expressing yourself. I would never do this because of that fear of what people would think, but getting better at doing this, but metaphorically as well, to do that. Be not sad that roses have thorns, be glad that thorns have roses. I like that one because it shifts the whole perspective, and it's all about, it's about connecting thoughts, and I love perspective and how it can change instantly if you just shift a perspective. You can be, there are pessimists in the world. Oh, look, the roses have thorns. Don't go near those roses. Nothing good about roses. No. Look at those roses. Look how those thorns have this beautiful flower flowering at the end. So apply that metaphorically to all of life, and it just reminds me how you can look at any situation and just flip it around and you can find something good. For example, oh, I'm so sad this holiday is over. Oh no, now I have to go back to real life. Cry, which I could do. Hang on, flip it around. Thank you so much. That holiday was so amazing, and I got to spend that time with family. That was absolutely, I'm just so thankful for that time, and carry that into the rest of life. Or, I'm so sad that my dog died. I wish I never got her, and I never want a dog again. It's too painful. Flip that round. She gave me 10 years of joy, and I'm so glad for those 10 years. She was a friend for my life in those times, and I have the memory of her forever, and I have this amazing, I've got these pictures of her, and yeah, I'm just so glad that I had her. She was an absolute gift in my life, and she'll always be in my heart. So those are just two examples from my own life of how perspective can just flip anything around, and power of perspective. So that just reminds me about that, which is kind of fun. So all right, that was a lot in there. That was a bit of a deep one. I hope you got something out of that. My goodness, this video is long, but I just really wanted to share my heart there. And I hope that was inspiring and helpful. And go face your fears and go share yourself and share your passions and who you are. You are a gift to the world. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.